This is obviously a banner day, a marquee day for Oklahoma State University. I really don't know a school in America that could assemble this kind of talent for one coming game. We've been working on it for 3 or 4 years. We were excited. Nobody ever really believed it might happen, and I'll be doggone it did. And we got 3 of the all-time greats from any university, and especially from Oklahoma State University: Barry Sanders, Garth Brooks, and Robin Ventura. I'm going to ask these guys just a couple of questions to kind of get things going, and then because I used to be a journalist, you know, I was actually a journalist. So I'd like to just start. All of these guys were here about the same time. I mean, within a few years. Yeah, I know. But I have watched them today and how they've reacted and how people have reacted to them, and it's really different. It's not so much that people are starstruck; it's that they're kind of part of the family. These are folks who in the family who really did well, and they've come home, and we're delighted to see them. And so, what I'd like to ask Barry, if you could start it for us. What's the most memorable thing you can recall from your time here at Oklahoma State?
The most memorable is probably winning the Heisman. I mean, it was something that.
What's number 2?
Yeah, but
Do you have number 2?
I mean, there's so many.
Okay.
But there's so many other great things that happened leading up to that, obviously. But because that was such an interesting year in my life, going from the guy who may potentially, be splitting time with another guy, going into that season, the talk about who's going to replace Thurman Thomas, kind of thing, and so I didn't know what to expect. So that year, and winning the Heisman Trophy, because even after the year that I had, still some question as to whether I would actually still win. So I guess that would probably be the top memory that I'm left with.
Barry Switzer said in the game when Thurman Thomas started, he said he told his team before in the locker room, "For God's sakes, don't hurt Thurman Thomas." How about you, Garth?
Well, Barry took my answer. Dang it. Winning the Heisman was a big time for me, too. But I think my favorite time has to be just watching these guys play. Either Lewis Field at the time, come down and watch him play, or at that time they still let you bring your own food and your dog into the baseball park and watch Robin. That would be it. And trust me, I have been the driving force behind this day happening because none of my friends believe I know these 2 guys. So take a lot of pictures, please. This is a great day for me.
How about you, Robin? Memorable thing.
Well, I think I'm kind of like Barry in the thought that I came here not knowing really what to expect. I come from California, not really knowing if I'm going to make the team my first year, and things work out to where you start becoming, you get to play a little bit, you get to play a lot, and then a lot of things are expected. So a lot of stuff happened to me my freshman year, and every time I come back here, the smells, it floods. It makes me feel young again, which is great, because the smells and seeing things that trigger memories that never go away, and they're all positive.
I think, imagine that you've got 2 of the top 10 Sports Illustrated sports achievements in college athletics of all time, sitting right up here on either side of Garth Brooks. We were hoping for a third with javelin, but it didn't. He didn't quite chunk it far enough. That's the deal. But Barry Sanders set 13 NCAA records in his time. 13 NCAA records. Robin Ventura has the all-time longest hitting streak in collegiate sports, 58 straight games. And then the guy in the middle, who's seeming kind of modest right here, has only sold more records than any solo artist in the history of the world. So I think these guys deserve a round of applause. And since some of the groups ahead of him are not performing anymore, I think maybe that solo artist part will go away and it'll just be the number one of all time. What does just being a Cowboy mean to you, Barry?
Well, for me, it's part of my identity. It was such a terrific place to come to, a great place to be associated with. Still have, wonderful friends that are here, that have passed through here. And so it's just really a great community of people that make up Oklahoma State Cowboys. And so for me, it was the perfect place to come to. And, it's made me who I am, made me who I am in so many ways. So I'm definitely proud to be a Cowboy.
It's kind of a wild thing. It's your first 4 years away from your parents, very formative years. And I'll tell you this to anybody on the planet. That age, when you get out of high school, I think I was 23 when I got out of high school. That age when you get out of high school and those next 4 years, bring your kid here. This place has got everything the kids want. It's got everything your parents want, but the greatest thing about it is you're going to be raised around common sense. This is the home of it, and I would not trade those 4 years ever. My daughters are going to be who they're going to be, but I'm working them. No, they're going to make their own choice, but this was the place.
Robin, like you said, you were from California. I mean, thought you were coming, I bet you, into the stagecoach country and didn't know what.
Oh, I did.
Yeah.
No, I knew that as soon as I passed Cow Creek the first time that I was here. And no, when you try to explain to people, they think it's real culture shock and I can't believe you're going there. But always trying to explain that, especially in Stillwater and Oklahoma in general, they're the most overly nice people. Well,
Yeah,
can I exclude you? Okay. Most overly nice people as a group. And that was one of the things that made it so easy to come here and be a player, be a student, and going on and playing in Major League Baseball. It's always nice to go to a stadium and see one person or three people in orange rooting for you. And you know that there is a connection there, and you can always just see. Any stadium I ever played in, there was always one or two people wearing a little bit of orange, and you could find them, and it was very comforting.
Any questions from?
Yeah, right here. My name's Nathan Poppy from the Oklahoman. Just tell me today, this is for all of you, what have you enjoyed about being Marshals and coming back today?
We're halfway down the parade route, right?
Yeah.
And these people are screaming this way, screaming that way, and I hear a lady off the back of my left go, "You will always be number one." And I'm about to give her the big salute. "Be number one, Barry." I was like, "Hey, all right." That's fun.
Well, I think in the parade, we all had our share of fans, absolutely. But no, I mean it's really an amazing concept and the way it's been able to come together. I remember hearing about Garth when I was coming through school, and it was like he was already a legend. Garth has been here. People would always say after they'd been to a club or wherever he had played, and then Robin had the good fortune of talking to Robin when I was sort of considering whether I was going to stay in school or enter into the draft. And so I think, and I remember just sitting down with him and him just telling me to take my time and make a good decision and really think about what it is I wanted to do. But I think it kind of speaks to a lot of the people that come here and the principals that are here. The kind of community that's here of people that are willing to reach out. And so, today it's just one thing after another. Has just been a great experience of being able to reach back into old memories of times that we spent here, of things that made us who we are. All of us have had vast experiences after leaving here, but there's something about Stillwater, that's special and that we cherish, and so today being able to sort of get swept up in the spirit of the game and homecoming and this event has been pretty cool.
Oh, it's the same for me. I mean, it's special to be honored like this at a school like this that you feel so much for. But with these guys is the same thing. I mean, we're all here roughly around the same time. Really a special time. I thought, obviously we didn't have the stadium and things like that, but it was a very special time when you got to come to a football game and Barry's playing, or he was even playing in town. You could see him for cheap. You didn't have to pay those Vegas prices. You didn't have to pay Vegas prices. You could see him,
Already started.
But I was actually in a parade in 1988 here, and it was nothing like today. And it is amazing to see what this has all become. The parade, that walk, very powerful.
I've got another question for you, Garth. This week's been kind of a week for returns. Like you're coming back to OSU, you're returning to your career. Is this at all kind of overwhelming?
Oh yeah, but I gotta tell you, dude, I cannot. It's not a statement of modesty or humbleness at all. It's just a statement of truth. I am here today to get this picture right here. I kid you not, bro. I'm sitting there. I mean, I'm not gay or anything, but when these two guys came, it was like, damn, look at those. This is great. It's a great day to be here, and feel very lucky to be standing with this level of what they have achieved. So.
Bonnie Kelly from the Stillwater News Press. This question is for you, Mr. Brooks. What can you tell us about an upcoming performance in Stillwater, and what details can you share with us about Las Vegas?
I know nothing about the upcoming performance in Stillwater. I do want to come here. I want to start working with the university with one thing in mind. This university is the best kept secret on the planet for what it has produced and for the national championships that it has. This university, I think, deserves more recognition than it's getting. And I'd like to come back and see if I can help in any way that way. So that's probably my main reason for coming back to Oklahoma State. Following T. Boone Pickens' gift, following Mike Gundy's performance the last 2 years, these are alumni that are, showing their gift back to this college. I have to ask myself, what can I do? So that would be my main objective. As far as Vegas, it's the first time I've never been the boss. If you've ever been around Mr. Wynn, he's the boss. So when he grabs me by the back of the neck and points me and says, sick 'em, that's what I'm going to do.
Hey guys, one of the reasons you're here is for a football game. Typically, Oklahoma State has struggled to win the conference championships in football with Mr. Pickens' gift, the new stadium. Is Oklahoma State now in position to win conference championships in football? And did you view this year as one of those kind of years, before the guys start falling by the wayside?
You know what, you're the...
Football.
Yeah.
With football.
Yeah.
Well, I think we all had very high hopes. I think we can see, what has taken place since Mike has taken over. I think the improvement is very clear. I think that looking at what they've done to build the athletic program will help recruit top-notch student athletes. I think you can look at NFL any given Sunday and see that we've recruited some really good players here. Have some players here now that will definitely be playing on Sunday. So I think that it's just a matter of time. And I think yes, today I think we're here. I think we're at that point where we can have big expectations, the same that all the other schools that have won championship has going into a season.
Barry, I've got a question for you. It's Nathan from the Oklahoman again. I think about you almost every day because I drive past your the dealership, and I was wondering, how does it feel to have like a permanent stake kind of in Stillwater?
Well, having a dealership now is kind of scary, actually. But no, no. You know what? It was something that sort of I began to meet with some folks about a couple years ago, and you never know if something like this, will ever happen. A lot of things have to take place in order for a business like this to to actually be able to come to fruition. Right. And so, it's just one of those things that for me it was the right fit. Things were actually going pretty well to this point. We opened in March, I'm actually very happy that I decided to do it, and we've been received tremendously throughout the area, because when they first came to me with the idea, I said, are you sure you want to put it in Stillwater? There's some guys that they know what they're doing and that kind of thing, and it's proven to be a good decision, and I love it.
West Daily Collegian.
All right.
Are you guys, besides your business ventures and your recent foray back into Vegas, are you guys getting to enjoy your time off now? Retirement?
I'm still enjoying it. I don't know. I mean, they can go to work all they want.
Yes, I am. Yeah, it's been great. I mean, it's already been 10 years that I've retired from the NFL. Played for 10 years. It's hard to believe, and it's kind of nice to be able to kind of do some other things, and have a young family, and my oldest boy lives here, and come to his games and that kind of thing. So it's kind of nice.
I think it's opposite for me. I think getting up, getting your kids to school, making sure they got everything, grades and everything, that's some work for your ass right there. I'm ready to go back the other way where I don't have to worry about anybody but me. But I don't see how people that do it and have a real job, my hat's off to them, man. I don't see how they do it, because I'm sitting here with no job at all and trying to keep up with these three girls in high school and trying to make sure they go to soccer with all their gear and make sure, and these fundraisers. Forget it. Every day, Dad, I brought home this box. I'll just buy the box. Like I'm going to let my kid go door to door in this time, in age, and selling chocolates. So they've got it figured out. So no, I'm probably much more into getting a lot more sleep if I'd go back out on the road. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much. This question is actually for Mr. Sanders.
Oh, well then, I'm sorry.
I have another one for you.
Okay, sure.
As your son prepares for college and considers different schools, will he be in OSU Orange?
Yeah, no pressure.
Yeah, he's running around here somewhere. That's probably the appropriate question for him. But he's a sophomore in high school. And we just hope, and he's at a great school. We're hoping that he continues to be a very good student athlete. He likes football. He likes baseball. He's at a great school that will prepare him for whatever college that he chooses. He absolutely loves Oklahoma State, and comes to a lot of the home games. I think if he were choosing today, I think that's probably the choice he would make, and so we'll keep our fingers crossed.
What's it like watching him play, Gary? What's it like watching your son play?
I'm really happy that he found something he likes to do. I was one of those kids that I love competing. I love sports. I love track. I love basketball. I love football. And he seems to have that same passion for just competing, and that kind of thing. And I think he's really, I think he doesn't take it for granted. And so for me, I'm just happy that he's at a great school and really in a good environment for a young kid his age.
My hat's off. I've got to talk to the gentleman, and my hat's off to him, because I'm sorry, dude. I've done what I think are some pretty cool things in my life, but I can't imagine the pressure of being your son, playing your sport, and still performing like this kid and holding his head together. So he's a sweet kid. I wish him well.
Thank you.
Hey, Garth.
Yes, sir.
Just on the subject of family, how did your daughters react
They were happy to get me out of the house. You know my girls, they were. Dad, get out of here. Yeah, because I'm on them all the time. Those poor girls. I mean, they, you know, we've got that thing that when you push it, it like deeps. You know, beep, hey. You know, it's like a walkie-talkie phone. You know those things?
Cell phone?
Oh my God. They hate it all the time. Like they're out on a date. Beep, hey, just checking in with you. They hate it. So they're going to be happy that I'm out of town.
Okay.
Garth, what advice did you give your daughter on coming to OSU?
I have 3 girls. The 15-year-old will come here right now. She's in. The 17-year-old is applying here and applying at A&M. She's a dream. She loves both schools, and she'll be who she is, whatever she chooses to do. We went down to A&M with her, and I was, you know, we went to the bookstore, and I'm thinking of getting an A&M dad shirt, you know. And it's the funniest thing. The second that I stepped on that, and they're the sweetest people. The second I stepped on that campus, I can remember the grass underneath my boot going, what in the hell am I doing here? You know? And all of a sudden it just came out of me. Started sweating, and I don't know what it was, but it was like, why am I here? I should be taking her to Oklahoma State, and they were very sweet to her, and she'll make up her mind, and whichever she does, you know, I wish her well, and if it's not this college, then I wish her well on how she's going to pay for it.
I'm Brian Eister. I'm a homecoming executive. If the Brett Favre song has taught us anything, it's superstars have a really hard time giving it up. With all 3 of you, how tough was it to retire, and how close were you to coming back?
I can clear. They were really wanting me to retire earlier, so I made it probably an extra year or 2 before they really let me know. But it wasn't hard. I think in baseball it probably comes a little quicker than most sports as you get older. And there's no chance of coming back, so it makes it pretty easy.
Well, I got to tell you something. In professional sports, there's a lot of guys who you never hear about. They're not superstars, and it's extremely tough for them too. You know, they're the guys that, you know, get handed the pink slip or you know, get asked to bring their playbooks in to meet with the coach, you know, to get the one-way ticket home or whatever. So my point is, it's not just hard for the athletes to give it up. It's hard for everybody to give up professional sports. I mean, you know, it's for most of us. If most of the guys that play are anything like me, when I was a kid, that's all I thought about was sports. You know, I was telling someone earlier, I wish I would have read more. You know, my best friend, he used to read everything from the time we were little kids, and he ended up being a writer, journalist, and you know, so in order for me to be able to play professional football, being a kid that's all I loved was sports, was, I don't know, had someone told me I was going to be a professional athlete as a 10-year-old, I'm sure I would have had a heart attack, you know, because, but that's just how, you know, how passionate I was about, you know, football and sports and what have you. So when someone reaches the pinnacle and then has to contemplate, you know, do they leave or do they stay? And especially in Brett Favre's situation, when he can still play. You know, there's nothing stopping him from playing. You know, so yeah, it's definitely a tough decision to make, and I can understand, you know, why he would want to continue to play. And so, you know, but I know a lot of guys, you know, who nameless, who you know, they have to quit after the first year because they're not good enough, or they get hurt, what have you. Somebody else, you know, they found someone else for that position, you know. So, I mean, you know, it's a tough business, and to be able to do that, I mean, it's, you know, it's to be able to play in college, you know, to be able to play college football on this level is remarkable, you know, and I don't think a lot of kids realize that, you know, but it's remarkable to be able to suit up in a uniform in a game of this magnitude tonight in this environment. I mean, that's remarkable. And so to be able to play, you know, to one step above that, you know, yeah, I mean, it's definitely a tough thing to have to give up. You know, so.
And there's also so many things that go into retirement, a lot more than you just think of, are you done with what you do? Favre's case, I would suggest that you also look that, let's try and be fair about it, this isn't accurate, but let's say 50% of it is athletics, the other 50% is business. And I think he ran into a thing where business and athletics weren't loving each other that much, because he definitely has shown us all he has a lot more years to play. So there's a lot of factors that go in. Sandy and I were getting a divorce. And at that time, the rules of the divorce was we were going to come back here to Oklahoma and raise our kids, and I'd retire. And that was a big reason. Another reason was business. I thought it was probably the best move for me at that time, because I thought they were getting ready to throw me out anyway, you know. So you never know how this business goes up and down, who's in one week, who isn't the next week. So all I can tell you about retirement is I'm the lucky one of the three up here, because mine isn't athletics. Mine, a guy can go into retirement, raise his kids, come back out, and Straight's 10 years older than me, and he's still filling stadiums. So that's a great thing to have out in front of you. And then there's the fan side of it, and this is where I'm going to really get honest with you, because every year I keep thinking that this guy is going to come back. I don't know why I won't give it up, but I do. And now looking at him today and being right next to him, I think, dude, you still can do it. I mean, so I'm, it's the fan thing of it too that makes you really want to play maybe more than you ever get to, because that's the sweetest love in the world, is somebody that looks at you, doesn't know you, but believes in you almost as much as your mom did.
Anything else?
Yes, sir. Let's take daily over for Garth. If you decide to come back after and start doing
Right.
tours and things, after your separation with Capital and Scott Hendricks and also an OSU graduate, would you get back into a situation with Capital or something else strictly for distribution purposes?
That's very good. I mean, you must know something about the business, because that's the hardest thing to do. So we'll see what the future is. All I know is, I've told Wynn, I'm going to tell everybody that if the Vegas ticket prices are too high, to make sure they understand after Wynn and the kids go off to school, then we'll build a tour and come for 1/5 of the price. I'll make sure of it just to spite him. And see what he says about that, and we'll bring the whole band and everything. So he's a sweet man to work with, and we're always going to joust with each other. But the ticket price was the one thing we just... Ooh, that was a tough one to swallow. They say for Vegas, it's a great price. For me, it's I've seen the show. It's.
All
right. Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Brooks, you mentioned a desire to step up and get back to your University of Oklahoma State. What do you have in mind?
I think more of it's just bringing a spotlight to this university. Simple things. You can take a test anywhere you want. And if you ask the top 3 schools in the nation on national championships, USC, UCLA, Stanford, who's number 4? You'll never find anybody that knows the answer to it. We got to fix that. It's Oklahoma State. We're in a race. I would love to start a thing called the First to 50. And it's just us and our Big 12 competitors. The Big 12's got some great teams in it. And we should be very proud of the conference we're in, very proud that we're on a national level. And I think that's the gift that Pickens gave, and I think that's the gift that Gundy is giving, is everything's focused on football. You were talking about football. Our wrestling program needs the same support as our football program does. Our women's soccer support needs that, and the great colleges do that. Penn State is one of the most wonderful at it. You drive through there at any time, and they got 18,000 things going, and there's 8,000 people at each one of them. And that's what I would like to come back to this college, to the whole, just a little piece of marketing advice. You don't have to take it. You guys had a little trouble with a song called Cowboys Forever here, okay? The kid's a sweet kid. He came to me and talked to me about it. Whatever you like the song, don't like the song, I would suggest you not shoot yourself in the foot, because this kid has stumbled upon a phrase, Cowboys Forever. That's what I am, and that's what I became today, too. By being enshrined into the Hall of Fame, I became a Cowboy forever. That's a great feeling. And if we do that and instill it in our kids now, I think it helps our alumni program later. And I like the thought of being a Cowboy forever, because I can't think of anything else that'll stand the test of time that's that quality and that good as his Oklahoma State Cowboys.